Alright, so I'm currently trying to platinum every single type of EA game that there is out there, and if I can't do it before the channel hits 1 million subscribers, then my punishment is I have to platinum Fortnite, one of the longest, hardest, and most grindy games of all time. So make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Anyways, today I got the platinum trophy on Battlefield Hardline, which is one of the many Battlefield games available on the PS5, and unfortunately it's one of the lesser loved ones out of the bunch, but that's mostly because Battlefield Hardline is just not a Battlefield game, but it's not. If any of you have played this, which I bet some of you have because it came out quite a while ago now, Battlefield Hardline has a much more Call of Duty feel than a Battlefield feeling, and that's almost all due to the game not being large scale. There's zero wars happening inside of it, there's really no battles, and the campaign is about a cop turned bad cop turned good cop. This game's campaign is literally a Call of Duty campaign, and that's why the highest review for it is about Call of Duty Hardline. God, this community is funny sometimes. But Battlefield Hardline's Platinum contains a total of 49 trophies, including the Platinum Trophy. The guide suggests it takes about 36 hours to complete, which is oddly specific. However, it only took me 13, and I'm not kidding when I say that's probably a world record, simply built different. But stage 1 is to do the campaign trophies. However, I chose to jump to the online first because I like to do online trophies in games to start off with due to how annoying they can sometimes be. Thankfully, in Battlefield Hardline, the online trophies are very small and only contain a whopping 3 of them. Win 5 matches in the 2 new modes of Hardline, get 25 takedowns with the taser gun, and get 25 kills with both the MAC-10 and double barrel shotgun. Now that trophy, called Men's in the Hood, is by far the grindiest of the entire game, requiring you to do multiple steps, stages, and unlocks to get both of the respectable guns. However, as the guide also says, just having another player drop them for you in a game can speed this up greatly, and that's exactly what I did because, as you all know, we are in the middle of a massive challenge, and I won't have Fortnite tickle my rectum due to me grinding guns in a decade-old game. Oh my god! So I asked my Discord server for help, which I do have, by the way. Some of you seem to not know this, unfortunately, and only one person replied and said they could help. A lad named Oscarito, and I want to say a huge thanks to him for the assistance and taking time out of his day to do this with me. It took us about an hour or so for me to get 50 kills with the MAC-10 and double barrel combined, so thanks for spending your time with me, Oscarito. You'll be loved forever. But basically, this trophy is like any other boosting trophy within online games. Have your friend or random let you kill them, get the gun from the ground, and then try your best to keep track of kills you have done with each gun. As far as I know, there isn't a tracker on the gun, at least in-game, so I was just totally guessing due to how many kills I had in each round. Also, to fill these lobbies, I did rent a server and use a couple of my personal PS5s to boost them up so we could start the round in general, which, by the way, renting a server is low-key goated, and shout out to you guys for letting me know in the comments of other Battlefield videos that you can indeed do that. But anyways, once I did get 25 kills with both the MAC-10 and double barrel, the trophy popped and we have completed the hardest trophy in the game first. And that's quite delectable, I can't lie, I'm either gonna bust or myself. But anyways, continuing on with the online trophy stage, I decided to stay on my own private server and just boost those taser kills next. Again, still on my personal boosting accounts, little digital slaves, if you will. And for those of you who call this cheating, you're probably right, but it's 2025, not 2015, so this is fine. I would never boost a new online game because guess what? You wouldn't need to. But after getting 25 kills with the taser gun, I got the trophy called Electric Company. That taser, by the way, is a massive part of the campaign, so it was nice to get introduced to our future friend that is almost a savior in a way. But the final trophy of the online portion was called the Big Score, and it's from winning 5 blood money and 5 heist matches. These are both new modes in the release of Battlefield Hardline. Blood money, you literally just steal money from a cash pile in the middle of the map and have to bring it back to your own base's vault. But due to me playing solo, it was literally impossible to get 300 cash and bring it back before the match's time ran out, so I would end up just AFKing all 5 of these matches, and it was low-key boring as shit. I think I've actually had more fun just staring at nature the one time I went outside and breathed in fresh air instead of gaming musk in my studio. Thankfully though, the heist mode was actually playable, at least when I was the criminals, because when playing as criminals, you just have to break into 2 vaults, take the goods, and deliver them to the exfil helicopter. Do it twice and you win. But again, when I was the cops, or quote-unquote good guys, I did just have to AFK, which is unfortunate. Waste of time? No, but definitely boring, as I've said. However, upon winning 5 in both, as you do, the trophy pops, so that's the online stage of this game knocked out faster than I could have ever hoped to do. So that's pretty much the difficult or annoying stage of this game's platinum finished, and then I decided to just jump into the campaign because that's all we have left before the platinum. And as I've said earlier, the Hardline campaign is very odd. It follows a cop through his life on the force dealing with drug trade in Miami and a lot of backstabbing. Yeah, it sounds just like your average Battlefield campaign, right? Anyways, the dude we play as is named Nick Mendoza, and the prologue begins with us seeing the future of him getting sent to prison without much info on why. Then it swaps back to present day and we see him on the force doing his job as a cop going on a drug bust with his current partner. And everything was going good. We even got a sweaty man in handcuffs, but then some ratchet bitch comes out of the bathroom with a shotgun and just starts shooting us all up. Everyone died. I have so many questions as to what just happened, but most importantly, who the f keeps their shotgun in the bathroom. Insane hiding location. But then the last friend of these druggies pulls up with snacks for everyone and dips immediately upon seeing cops in a room full of dead people, which is an understandable reaction. He goes so far as to jump out of a window, somehow didn't break anything, which is wild. And we then did a full-blown car chase on the guy through the city, with him ultimately crashing and us putting him in cuffs before he even got out of the vehicle. Only in Miami, I swear to God. There was then this little character intro cutscene of all the people in the story that are relevant to us, and once it did wrap up, the first trophy of the game's story for beating the prologue then popped. By the way, there is 10 episodes to this game's story, with evidence and many other things we need to collect and do for trophies. I followed numerous videos and the trophy guide for this game's platinum to ensure I didn't miss anything, and it was kind of complex, but not too bad. So then episode 1 begins, and this game's story, at least in the beginning, just had us doing a lot of drug busts and trying to track down the main dealers of the drugs and get dirt on people. We also swapped over partners to this chick who has a name that I'm not even going to try to pronounce because I can't even say English correctly half the time. So I'm going to refer to her as Panda Express because she's kind of Asian, I think. That might be a tad bit racist, but trust me, I love Panda Express. It's my top dining location. There is no hate behind these words. But the next trophy I got was when we were on this rooftop with Miss Panda and scouting out this abandoned building that is being used as a drug running facility, as our guy on the inside was going to get info for us. However, before he was finished up, we had to spot every single enemy in the place, which wasn't too hard because the scanner spots people very easily and nobody was really hiding from view. Once glancing at the last dude, the trophy then popped for me doing that. After that, we did have to storm in, however, and there was a load of combat because I didn't really try to stealth all that much when I was playing, and we are also on like the average difficulty, so enemies aren't too much of a deadly threat to us. But after the combat, I would reach a room where we had to find all the evidence inside of it to progress the story, and also for collectibles in general. And once I did find 3 out of 3 pieces of evidence, I got a trophy for completing any case file in the campaign, so that's neat. You then see, however, that the guy we were after for evidence was only here on a FaceTime call like your average girlfriend. Oh wait, none of you have one. Haha, must suck. Anyways, the enemies pulled up again, but with more people to try and take us out for trespassing and murdering their friends. I also chose to use this taser and get a few kills with it for a trophy called You Tased Him Bro. Go to trophy name, I can't lie. But the first episode would then end with us tracking down the drug dealer guy we were after. However, when talking, our partner took a bullet to the shoulder, and there was then a neat scene which had us putting pressure on the wound as enemies came piling in like retarded zombies from a modern Call of Duty Zombies match. And if you don't keep pressure by pushing the stick forward, she will die and you will just fail, so just FYI, make sure you do that. Once fending off enough enemies, however, the scene ends, the FBI pulls up and saves the day for now, finishing episode 1 and getting us that trophy in addition. The following episode then began with us going on a sting and trying to get this briefcase with valuables from another drug cartel informant who wanted to strike a deal, but he refused to talk to us because he wasn't a fan of Panda Express, and I find that very offensive, which led to a giant chase, and that's what the majority of this episode was. Us chasing after the bald man who looked like a young Walter White without a deliberating cancer in his body, or a thumb person from that one movie. But during this chase sequence, I got another trophy, and it was from just performing 10 non-lethal takedowns in the game, and I'm not even sure if there is lethal ones in the game in general, so this is kind of a goofy trophy, but here it is regardless. The rest of the episode then, as I said, had us chasing down the thumb man, ultimately finding him, and our partner already got there. Also, she was beating him with a metal trash can. Both physical damage and also emotional due to the poor guy now smelling like literal trash. Biological warfare, I like it. Anyways, we stopped her, and then we had to escort the thumb guy out to get the info he has in the cartel. You even drive a giant truck through a highway as enemies try to send us to the afterlife early, but they fail because we are in a bulletproof, strong vehicle. The episode then ends with us delivering the guy to our boss, and another trophy popped. Episode 3 then began, and this one resembles a lot of modern day COD campaigns with an open world mission for us to do. The main goal was to tag these drug drops from planes that drop them in the swamps for the cartel members to pick up, and it's low-key smart because not only do people not want to be in a swamp, but there's also gators everywhere, and we almost got eaten alive by one trying to tag a drug drop. Thankfully, Panda Express saved us like Orange Chicken has to me on sad nights. After that, we then got given 2 new gadgets, the grapple gun and the zipline gun, both of which have trophies for using them and traveling a certain distance. Now, I decided to just use them both over and over to get the trophies, but you will 100% get them through natural play because traveling 10 meters with the grapple gun is very easy to do and has to be done. Also, 90 meters with the zipline is just as easy, so here's both of those trophies when I did get them. I also did reach level 5 in the campaign for another trophy pop as well. Why does a campaign have a leveling system, you might ask? Well, why not, motherfucker? But this entire episode has you pretty much just boat around the swamp, grabbing collectibles, taking out enemies, and learning nothing, to be honest. I did take out 2 alarm boxes, however, so that's cool, and it was a trophy making the enemies have no way to call in reinforcements now. But the episode then ended off with us raiding this giant facility full of enemies, drugs, and bad things. Ultimately making it to some dude who was their leader, and he surrendered because he apparently struck a deal with someone on the police force, but then one of our boys barged in the room and just shot him right in the head for no reason other than because he wanted to, and then stole the money from the guy. And this is kind of crazy because it exposed that not only was he a bad, crooked cop, but so was our partner and kind of the entire police force. Now, the character we play as is very against that because we are a little bitch. But then the episode ended with another trophy, so rejoice anyways. Episode 4 then had us return to that crime scene to get some more info that we didn't quite grab, but after that it sent us off to go raid more cartel facilities. During this I also completed my 3rd case file in the campaign by just grabbing all the evidence, and it was a trophy that popped right here. We also got sent to a mall in the middle of a hurricane next because bad weather is cool and malls are cool. Combine them and you might get autism, I think. But it's fine because I got a trophy called Watch Dog from identifying 10 warrants with the scanner. And yes, this is a shout out to the game series Watch Dogs and Watch Dogs 2. We don't talk about the 3rd one. It's like a stain on your underwear, and nobody likes stains in their underwear. And speaking of stains, this episode finished and we didn't really accomplish much aside from seeing the giant stain that is the Miami police force. Basically, the guy we play as is the only good cop and everyone else is bad, takes money from criminals, gangs, does things the law says not to. Basically, everybody is just a criminal with a badge, and they put it all on us, which is what sends your boy to prison that we saw in the beginning. Also, here's that episode 4 trophy. But on the bus to prison in the beginning of episode 5, we met a drug dealer who we previously dealt with, and he said to brace ourselves because those same dudes who just f***ed us over, or I guess did 3 years ago since this is in the future, are now breaking us out of prison. But episode 5 entirely consisted of us trying to break away from the prison transport. There's also a trophy called Graceful Exit from not being spotted the entire time, which is actually quite hard to do. However, if you steal a taser from the back of a cop car, which was also a trophy by the way, it makes this much easier. And if you were ever spotted, you can just reset checkpoint, which is what I did do a few times, and I feel no shame. There was also another trophy here from blowing up a meth lab, which was shockingly easy to do, and I am no longer surprised that these blow up all the time. All I had to do was turn on some gas and light a flame. That easy, and it blew up, creating a distraction and getting me the trophy. And the only real hard part about escaping without being spotted was at the end because they had guards patrolling like crazy and helicopters sending searchlights down on the ground. Kind of a toxic combo like the mental illnesses in my brain. But due to me having this taser, it made sneaking around easy as shit, and I got the trophy from not being spotted along with the episode 5 trophy pop as well. So with us escaping prison and kind of joining back up with our old partners, the goal of this campaign was to basically just get back at the dude who screwed us over, being named Captain Julian Dawes, who was the police captain and our old boss before, you know, he bent us over and pretty much f***ed us. Now this revenge tour spans the rest of the game essentially, with episode 6 being about us raiding the Korean mob because he has ties to them as well, and sensitive data goes through their auto shop, which is where he first went to rob it from. I also did reach rank 10 for another trophy, which is cool, and here is that. The rest of this mission then just had combat and a lot of it. We were also trying to steal this smart tech guy from the Koreans because he can hack anything and is also needed for our plan to rob Captain Dawes of his fortunes that he blatantly stole from us. Low key, we're kind of in a GTA plot right now, I can't lie. There was also a substantial amount of new combats like men in turrets, ball sacks flying around our chicks. We got to peek out of the car also and shoot, so that was fun. But the episode ended with us raiding some car shop and just taking out every single person in there, so that's cool. I love mass executions. And then the trophy from the episode popped. Episode 7 then had us inside of a Hollywood Hills mansion trying to infiltrate it and plant a bug spy on the higher-ups of the drug and law enforcement corruption circle that's going on. But you can also get 2 trophies here. First from finding a hidden room, which was easy, and there's also collectibles inside of it, so you need to get in there anyways. But secondly, from shooting this grill that the chef was literally cooking on, and it exploded, killing the chef, which is a trophy. Such brutality. Anyways, episode 7 was actually super fast, and it just had a little more combat at the end after we got spotted by the higher-ups, but they are now 6 feet under, so GG's, and here's that trophy pop. Now, episode 8 was then a bit of an odd one, and it had us meeting up with this cult in the desert to get a safecracker device that can help us break into the vault that Captain Dawes has in his penthouse, where he supposedly stores all of his riches. But the cult ended up striking a deal of their own, and there was a $250,000 bounty set on our name, so they just threw us in a cell and waited for the captain to get over and get us. Thankfully, this tech guy we were teamed up with now was lovers with the cult leader's daughter, so she slipped us a key to get out as the arresting occurred, and we were able to escape back to the surface. Once making it back topside, there was also a trophy here from finding our weapons before engaging in combat, which I did before any collectible grabbing to ensure I didn't miss it, and here it is. The rest of this episode then had us just escape that little area and go to a gas station, which had a ton of combat on it, and I actually died a few times due to the annoying ass turret enemies. But then we made it to an airfield, and our tech boy had to fix up a plane. All the while, attack choppers and a tank also came after us, which led to me having to lock in and not get blown up, as I was also in a tank. Battlefield Hardline's tank combat, by the way, kind of blows, I'm not gonna lie, and it's totally not my aim. But after the dust settled and we made it to the plane that now allegedly works, we flew away to safety and finished episode 8 with the trophy. So beginning the second to last episode now, we are officially breaking into the penthouse of the captain, which is way nicer than any policeman's salary could ever get you. And we did this to steal from his vault, like I've said numerous times. Pretty basic gameplay flow to get up there, by the way. We just did a lot of fighting, which is the majority of what it was, but I also did reach level 15, which is max level, and I got that trophy. Long story short, there was nothing in the vault, and we had to zipline out of there with empty hands. I know, a tragedy, but how stupid would bro be to leave his shit in there after knowing we're after it? However, while I was ziplining down, it got caught in some civilian helicopter and we got flung back to the apartment building. There was also a trophy here once midair from killing an enemy in the air. It took me 2 tries to get, but overall not hard, and here it is. I then actually did make it to the ground, thankfully. A few more enemies tried to shove their flaccid wieners in our faces, but once surviving that and making it out to the escape boat, we sailed out of there and finished the episode with another trophy pop. So it is now time for the finale of this game's story, and this final episode is actually super short, playing it normally and not with collectibles and trophies like I did my first run. But the first trophy I got here was the ultimate warrant trophy from capturing all the warrants alive and bringing them to justice. A warrant was just a special enemy who had a unique marker on them, by the way, but this is very easy to do and you can just pop them with stealth takedowns or even a taser from what I would come to learn. I then did both of the hidden entrance trophies on this mission as well. First from the side grappling entry, which was very self-explanatory, just on the far left side and you grapple up and over. Then I did the motorcycle entry on the far right side from riding a bike into the dude's courtyard, and here's that. Now before encountering the captain for the final time, I did also find my last piece of evidence, and I got a gold trophy called World's Greatest Detective. Huge thanks to PowerPix for those tutorial videos, absolutely goated.
I love you, bitch.
But then I did just finish up the game, and Hardline has a very funny and kind of bad ending, to be honest. You basically just barge into Captain Dawes' office, and bro was low-key ready to die because he didn't put up a fight at all. He literally let us just kill him, and then we interacted with this letter he was writing, and it said that he knew that we would kill him. He then told us about a secret room to the side of him. We walked down to it and found an absolute ton of treasure just getting given to us by him. What the f is that ending? I see now why nobody talks about Hardline anymore, I can't lie. But that did give me 2 trophies regardless. One for finishing it on officer difficulty, and another for finishing episode 10. So now all that remains is for me to do the stage where we beat the campaign on a hard mode. And I'm gonna be honest, it really isn't that bad, especially if you just play stealth and use good guns that you should have unlocked already. Now as usual, I am not gonna go back through the story, but even more so in this game because I found its difficulty easy, and the playthrough only took me about 4 hours, which is even faster than my officer difficulty one, since I wasn't chasing down collectibles and other trophies. Finishing off the game once more after that 4-hour run, and both the difficulty trophies popped along with the platinum trophy on Battlefield Hardline. So that was the Battlefield Hardline platinum trophy experience. Overall, I think the game is okay. There isn't anything wrong with it in terms of bugs or gameplay, it's just not a Battlefield game, and I think that's a common complaint that everybody has. If this game was rebranded as like a new IP for EA, I think it would have made a lot more sense. It probably still would have flopped, but who knows. Anyways, rating it out of 10, I'll just give it a 6, and I got some more videos coming as usual, but I'm always coming, so it's nothing new.